We're live.
Oh, hello, hello, everyone.
I want you all to know that before we started, Sherry had a fly swatter in her hand. So there it is. We're killing some flies today.
I have a dead one on my desk, but I have another one flying around somewhere.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Proverbial Masterminds. We're in episode 33.
Welcome back. And we are in finally, we're not finally, but maybe for some of you finally. So we've been doing this since November 1st, reading one verse a day. So each Friday when we come on and we do an episode, we are reading through 7 verses that we've read for that week, including the 7th, which we read for today. I don't know how you do it, Erin. I read them in the morning.
I do read them in the morning. And what I do is I read the 7 verses and then I come back and I read the one for the day.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, so I do that too. So I can see where I'm going. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, no, that's really good. And so today we're in Proverbs chapter 10, which although they all, I think we'll find they all go together in some way, shape or form, right? Because there's consistency across the word of God. But we're into the first chapter where there's these little like nuggets and we get to choose these nuggets to kind of dissect and to really apply.
Wisdom. Yes.
What's that?
Pearls of wisdom.
Pearls, yes, pearls of wisdom, nuggets of wisdom. So, do you want me to read?
Sure, you read.
Okay.
Tell us what version you're reading from.
The Life Application Study Bible from Tyndale, the New Living Translation.
Oh, okay.
All right. So this is chapter 10. This past week, ending on today, we read from chapter 10 of the book of Proverbs from verse 4 through verse 10.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Lazy people are soon poor. Hard workers get rich. A wise youth harvests in the summer, but one who sleeps during harvest is a disgrace. The godly are showered with blessings. The words of the wicked conceal violent intentions. We have happy memories of the godly, but the name of a wicked person rots away. The wise are glad to be instructed, but babbling fools fall flat on their faces. People with integrity walk safely, but those who follow crooked paths will slip and fall. It makes sense. People who wink at wrong cause trouble. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. But a bold reproof promotes peace. Where do you want to start today? There's a lot in there.
There is a lot, but I'm going to start in the middle. Hold on. Where was it? I am going to start here. The memory. So in mine, I have the English Standard Version today. So it says, This is verse 7, the memory of the righteous is a blessing, but the name of the wicked will rot. So here's what's funny about that. As you were reading in your version, what came up for me is, but isn't it funny that the world twists this such that we pay more attention to, more is said about, more is made about, the negative and the wicked and the right, because we live in a fallen world. And what came up for me when you were reading that was, wow, how the enemy, Satan, has us thinking the opposite of what the wisdom says, right? Yeah. Like, yes, we remember happy memories, but where this says like the name of the wicked will rot.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know. What came up for me is there's so much negative that we see and we hear, and that tends to be what we remember. It's just fascinating.
Well, so you're saying we remember the negative, or we remember the good about the wicked?
Well, I think we remember the negative. More is said about negative. More, it's why John, whose last name I'm going to pronounce wrong, Krasinski from The Office, he had a show during the pandemic. I can't remember the name of it, but it was like it was like on YouTube, and it was like the something, or I don't know what it was called. It was like the Something Good Show, and he would highlight good stories.
Okay.
Because we don't really highlight good stories.
Yeah. I see what you're saying.
So
Yeah, that is interesting. I think in my version with we have happy memories of the godly, but the name of a wicked person rots away. What strikes me about that is how nobody ever really says bad things about a dead person.
Interesting.
Do you know what like? Nobody gets up at a memorial service and is like they were the biggest jerk of all time.
Yeah.
Like they were not kind to people. They, you know what I mean? Like
Right.
they were greedy, they were selfish, nobody does that.
Yeah.
So I don't know why I brought that up other than
The name rots. The name
the,
of the wicked will rot.
yeah, right. It doesn't really matter what we say. But but like we talked about before, the fruit of our hands lives forever.
Yes.
Something like that,
Oh,
right?
yeah. I see what you're going. Where are you going? Yeah.
So it doesn't really matter what we say. What matters is what stands, I guess.
Well, it kind of goes to that saying that people don't care what you know until they know how much you care, or that people don't like it's not what you say that they remember, it's how you treated them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So let's back up then,
Back
because
up.
I feel like the last five verses there are really this comparison of the godly and the wicked.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so let's just start with that umbrella. So if you look at number 6, it says the godly are showered with blessings and the words of the wicked conceal violent intentions. So help me justify this. So when we are, there's Psalms written about don't fret because of evildoers. I think we even talked about this last time. Don't fret because the evildoers are getting things or
Yes.
so this says the godly are showered with blessings and the words of the wicked conceal violent intentions. I'm going to look up that word blessings real quick in the Hebrew or
Okay.
yeah.
While you do that, and in my version, it points me also to verse 11. So my version, the expansion, it says that the mouth of the wicked conceals violence. And it says, but violence covers the mouth of the wicked. Also verse 11. And I know we're skipping a little bit ahead, but verse 11 says, the mouth of the righteous is a fountain of life, but the mouth of the wicked conceals violence. So I guess.
So it's repeating itself to a degree, but expounding upon that.
Yeah. And I think what this is also speaking to me is that the words of the wicked, the deeds of the wicked are all about the opposite of the opposite of righteous, that they're hurtful, like violence, not just in the physical, right? But that they're hurtful, the way that they act and the way that they speak. So
this is interesting. I have a new take on this now. So this is the NKJV, New King James Version. 10:6 puts it like this. So this is interesting. Blessings are on the head of the righteous. Violence covers the mouth of the wicked. So that to me is like there's a covering. There's a covering over my head, but in support of out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. The violence is in front of the basically covers the mouth of the wicked.
Yes. And that, hold on, that reminded me of the armor of God, because you said, what's over the head, and I'm just trying to find
it says blessings are
the
on
helmet
the head
of salvation.
Yes.
In Ephesians 6:17 as part of the armor of God.
Wow, that's pretty powerful. That's a pretty powerful juxtaposition of like, do you want this covering of blessing? And blessing, I think, to be clear for practical purposes, is not right. Blessing is, as I can't remember, Paul talks about it in the New Testament, but every single thing that we need.
Everything we need.
everything we need. And most of that is not physical stuff.
Correct. Correct.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's fascinating to me. Well, I won't go there yet. We'll see if that comes up for me again today. But I think that what this tells me too, for me, is that basically you're going to reap what you sow. So if you sow in wickedness, if you sow in human wisdom, which is, by the way, I know this is really harsh, but is wickedness, because if it's not righteousness, it's wickedness. There's not
really a gray area there.
There's not.
No.
It's either I trust in God's wisdom or I trust in mine. And if I trust in mine, then I trust in the wisdom of fools, which is not God, which is not righteous. So anyway,
Correct.
it's one or the other. But man, to just say, do I want my head to be covered with blessings, or do I want violence to be before my mouth all the time?
Right.
That's just like just a self check, you know?
Yeah. And I think, to reiterate too, that, you know, this is not saying that we're expected to be perfect, because we are not.
Right.
Listen, there will be times that we are, you know.
Yes.
It more in that wicked side than the righteous side. But the point is to have the wisdom to know that we have a choice, that sometimes we choose poorly, but that God redeems every one of those choices when we are intent upon walking in his will.
Yeah. That's absolutely true. Let's look at the next comparison. So, well, we already talked about that one. Number 7, we have happy memories of the godly, but the name of a wicked person rots away. Number 8, the wise are glad. This is so good, because I feel like we touched on this last time. From chapter 9. If you become wise, you will, verse 12, if you become wise, you will be the one to benefit. If you scorn wisdom, you will be the one to suffer. So verse 8 here in chapter 10 says, the wise are glad to be instructed, but babbling fools fall flat on their faces. Which I love the way that's worded, because it's like we're thankful, and we can be stiff-necked at the same time, right?
Yes,
like
we can.
I hear you saying that to me, but I'm still going to do it my way. And God's going to go, okay,
you have the choice.
You're going to fall on your face.
Right.
You're going to fall on your face because you're being a babbling fool right now, because you're not listening to me. Right.
Yes.
But that doesn't mean that he's not going to be there when you fall, and he's not going to go, I told you so, you're on your own.
Right.
He's going to say, see, I really love you. I really do have what's best for you.
Right.
So come on. How about listen to me this time?
Yes.
Right.
In the Passion Translation, that verse 8 says, the heart of the wise will easily accept instruction, but those who do all the talking are too busy to listen and learn, and they'll just keep stumbling ahead into the mess they created. So not only are they stumbling, but like all that they've been spewing has created a mess as well.
Yeah.
Right. Yes.
Yes. And one of the things that I've been learning for myself is, in full transparency, is that it's really easy for us in our human wisdom to justify something that we know God is.
Journal this week.
Oh gosh, I can't. I'm just like, horrible person. Not, but that's right. That's what comes into the head.
Right.
Like I have been justifying stuff, and God really just showed up in my face yesterday. Showed up
with love
in my face. Like, Sherry, you need to understand that this is not, that your justification, your speaking of shelves, shelving something to deal with it later, is disobedience.
Mm.
It's not just, okay, God, I'll talk to you about that later. It's active disobedience.
Wow. That's powerful.
Horrible, horrible. So then I don't know if you saw my post.
About the
Yes.
harvest.
No, not that
No,
one.
not that one.
No. No, the one yesterday. Actually, hold on. Because here's what God spoke to me about that. And I said, don't allow the enemy to use your sorrow over your disobedience to keep you there.
Mm.
So that's because that's kind of where, as God was showing me, like, Sherry, this is disobedience. Then I was like, I'm such a horrible person. I don't know why you would even love me, you know? And then he was like, that's what he said to me. Don't let the enemy use your sorrow to keep you there. Let your sorrow lead you into the blessing that I have for you by walking in obedience now that you know you've been disobedient.
Mm.
Anyway. So I don't know how we got there from being glad to be instructed, but yeah, I was instructed.
You were.
And it was really painful and really beautiful.
Yes.
And so what's beautiful is that when you know God's wisdom and you know that he has your best interests at heart, like what was happening for me personally is I wasn't trusting him with the thing. I wasn't trusting him with the outcome. Like I was like, I don't know how I'm going to do this.
Yep.
So I can't do that yet. Cause I don't know how I'm going to do that. I just don't even know what that looks like. I don't know how to do that. So I can't do that yet.
And he's like, no.
He never asked me if I could do anything.
Right.
So I don't have to worry about that. I just have to go, okay. So this morning I got up and I was like, I can't wait to see what blessing you have for me.
Right.
I don't care what comes next. I'm believing in your word. You have a blessing for me. So anyway, the godly are showered with blessings.
The godly are showered.
Their heads are covered with blessings. Okay. So anyway, the comparison, people with integrity walk safely, but those who follow crooked paths will slip and fall. That's verse 9.
Yep. Truth.
It's pretty straightforward.
Pretty straightforward.
And then can we talk about this winking thing before we back up and look at verses 4 and 5?
Yes.
So people who wink at wrong cause trouble, but a bold reproof promotes peace. I like that picture because it's talking to me. This is talking about the same person. Like you have the option when somebody presents you with wrong to go ahead.
I got you. Yeah.
Right. Or to make a bold reproof.
Yes. And it also, that is in the Greek version. The Hebrew says, but babbling fools fall flat on their faces. So it's interesting because in the version you're reading, it's kind of like, yeah, you could be both.
Mm-hmm.
And in the footnote or whatever, the comment says, instead of, but a bold reproof promotes peace, it says, but babbling fools fall flat on their faces. So it's kind of like, you still can be both.
But that's verse 8. I see that in verse 8. You're seeing that in verse 10?
I see that in verse 10. On my U version, there's a little, so for those of you with the U version Bible app, there's a little squiggly. I don't know if you guys can see this. Hold on.
Wait, get it right. Get it right.
That little squiggly thing.
Okay.
So when you click on it, then it gives you more info.
Okay. Got it.
Right. So it's just, sometimes it gives you a comparison. Sometimes it gives you, between Greek and Hebrew. Sometimes it gives you a little more information or the definition of the word. Because in the English Standard Version, it does say that whoever winks the eye causes trouble and a babbling fool will come to ruin.
So why is mine so different?
I don't know. The New Living Translation.
But
now,
a bold reproof promotes peace.
The Passion Translation says the troublemaker always has a clever plan and won't look you in the eye, which is why, parents, we teach our children to look people in the eye. But the one who speaks correction honestly can be trusted to make peace. Interesting.
Now it does have an asterisk in my Bible. After but a bold reproof promotes peace, at the bottom it says, as in the Greek version. Hebrew reads, but babbling fools fall flat on their faces.
Right. Interesting. Just
It is interesting. Huh. We have no other explanation or commentary on that other than that's that's interesting.
But we really want to go, you wanted to unpack 10.5.
I did. Well, 10.4 and 10.5. Because, okay, so Aaron and I were talking offline a little bit last time and how God rewarded me with rest in an unexpected way. And I won't share exactly what that is, but it's work. And what he's teaching me is that in giving me something that is work, that in my human understanding would be like, oh my gosh, one more thing. I can't do one more thing, has actually turned out to be rest.
Oh boy, that just brought something to mind for me. Go ahead.
Oh, do you want to talk about it now or offline?
Sure, yeah. So as you said that, so I'm grappling with a decision right now.
Yeah.
And the one decision is work.
Mm-hmm.
It's a different, I have multiple ways of working. It's another way of working.
Yes.
And in that work, I have rest and margin and flexibility. There's still work being done, but the time at which I do it and how much time it takes me to do it actually gives me margin to do something else.
Well, and a filling too, right? Like that's what I'm finding for me is that God is redefining what rest looks like.
Yeah.
For me. And I don't know if he's doing that through his word. I think he's doing that through his word and through things that he's doing in my life right now. But the fact that work is rest, there is work that is rest.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Rest for the mind.
Is surely found in these two verses 4 and 5. Lazy people are soon poor. Hard workers get rich. A wise youth harvests in the summer, but one who sleeps during harvest is a disgrace. And what was interesting to me is, in a post that I did today, if you guys are on Facebook, you can go to that's on my personal page, but not my Dr. Sherry page, but both of them are public, so you can find it. But I talked about how, interestingly enough, so this is where it's coming up. I've seen a number of professing believers post things like that are very borderline, new age, not God's wisdom, like I attract money.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right? Like I'm about to get an increase and I don't.
Yeah.
What I'm learning for me is that a harvest is not a windfall.
Say that again for the people in the back.
A harvest is.
I'm in the back.
A harvest is not a windfall. A harvest is work. Listen, when I moved to Pennsylvania, so I live in farm country now, right? Like I have to drive, if I go to Target or whatever, which there is one, it's just 20 minutes away. I have to drive through cornfields and cow fields and manure smell and whatever. But let me tell you something. These farmers are out there kicking butt and taking names every day. It is work to produce a harvest, and it is work to harvest the harvest. God doesn't just send freshly shucked corn cobs down from heaven.
That's right. That's right.
People die in the harvest.
Yes. Yep. Great point.
I mean, I didn't mean for that to take a macabre turn, but the point is that the harvest is work.
Yeah.
But we have twisted it into the harvest is, oh, easy street. I've got a windfall. I finally had my breakthrough. This thing came. But what if the breakthrough is in the work? What if the rest is in the work? What if the reward is in the work? Because the only part that I can see from sowing to reaping that is rest, it's like we've got it twisted. We think the harvest is going to be rest, but it's not, it's work.
Mm-hmm.
But we work really hard in the waiting. And that's when we're supposed to be resting. Think about this. Okay, so you go and you till the soil, work, right?
Right.
You plant the seeds, work. You water the seeds, work. But the growing part isn't up to you. You don't have to do anything.
No.
The only thing you have to do is wait.
Yeah.
Not worry about when is a sprout going to come out of the ground.
Right. Right.
It's I show up every day and I work, I water, and then I wait. I rest. But that's the only place of rest as far as I can see. Rest in the way that we're like, I mean, the harvest is rest too, because it's like, clip, look what I got. Look, I got this fresh bunch of dill or whatever it is. I mean, but you can't get that without going out and doing
work.
Right.
Yes.
And so, but we think that, but we turn the waiting into work when it doesn't have to be. The waiting is supposed to be our rest time because God's like, I'm out doing the thing for you.
Right.
You showed up like I asked you to. And that's what I say, like with my podcast. I actually just had a conversation today with somebody who reached out, listened to the show. And I hardly ever announce, but at the end of one of the shows, I said, hey, by the way, I'm a thought coach too. And I have a couple of spaces available. If you'd like to talk to me about thought coaching, reach out to me. She reached out to me. And so we had a conversation, but I told her, I said, one of the things that I've learned for me is that my job is to show up and do the podcast, do the episode, to water. My job is not to even know what happens with it.
Yeah. And that's so hard.
It can be.
I mean, we make it hard, I think.
We do.
Yes.
We do.
Yes. It reminds me of, so here's the Israelites, right? They're wandering through the desert way longer than they needed to be. They're complaining about food and water, blah, blah, blah. Yet their shoes did not wear out. And God provides manna. Now they still had to go get the manna, right? But he had very specific instructions for gathering the manna. And that only on one day were they to gather enough for the next day, because that was the day of rest. But in Exodus, it still says that they went out and looked for it. Like some people, even though he said, there will be no manna tomorrow, you need to get double portion today. Go make sure you collect enough today.
Lord, have mercy on us for not trusting.
Sunday morning or Sabbath morning, they still went out looking for it.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And that, I think, is our worry. Like what he means for that space of rest
is rest.
The seed is germinating.
Yes.
That's our time, and the work that we do is the worry, but that's not what he intends for us.
No.
So good.
That's good stuff. I mean, it's like when the book of Deuteronomy, when they're getting ready to, let's see, this is in in Deuteronomy. I don't remember what chapter it is now, but basically says, look, I've given you the land. Go in and take possession of it.
Right.
That's work.
It is work.
We don't just sit back and go, put the possession in my lap.
Right.
Here he says, no, I've got it
up.
for you. That's the blessing.
Go get it.
Go get it. So go do the thing.
Yeah. Yes.
Stop being disobedient. Stop being stiff-necked. Go do the thing.
Go do the thing.
That I think sometimes we say, I don't know what God wants me to do, but I think we do know and we don't want to.
Well, I do agree with that. And I think God, which is where I've been over the last few days, is, I'm praying like, I want an answer. I want an answer. Show me, show me, show me. And it's like, God's like, I gave you free will for a reason. Just just go. Like almost like,
oh yeah, like not everything's always like crystal clear.
No.
100% agreed. Yep.
No. But I think that the Lord is like, I know your heart. And I know your heart
Yes.
is to follow my will. And I know that you are my child. And I know that
Mhm.
you have surrendered. Would you stop telling me that? Because I already know. And just go gather the harvest,
Mhm.
go do X.
Yes.
Did
Yes.
you do the last thing I told you? Right.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
harvest is work. And I love that. And I want to bring that back to something about
Mhm.
thriving, because we've talked about this previously, probably here, but also elsewhere, is that, we all like to think that thriving is like that big, exciting day and everything is moving together and wonderful. No. Part
Thriving
of
is work.
thriving is the seed growing in the darkness.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's work.
It is work.
I made a post about that one time on Instagram. I was like, it's kind of hard when what you sell is work. Because what I sell is the truth that life is work. And if you want to have fun and be happy and be fulfilled, you're going to have to work. It's not going to land in your lap.
No, it's not. It's not. Yep.
But the work is rewarding.
Yes, because in the work, right? It's what we learn, and it's how we
That's right.
grow, and it's how we express and show our the light and salt of the earth
Yes.
that we are, is in that work.
Yes.
Yes.
That's so good. So work is rest.
Work is rest.
And waiting isn't supposed to be the work that we make it.
No. And I think for those of us who tend to be like the type A achiever and super ambitious people, rest is work. But God doesn't mean for rest to be work.
No.
But for us, it's hard to rest. And God's like, would you just rest sometimes, right? Yes. Like be still and know.
Okay.
He's striving, right?
Sure.
So good.
We're on an adventure.
It
I wonder
is.
where the manna's going to be today.
That's right. That is right. Oh, friend, so good. So next week, will be Proverbs 10 verses 11 through 18. Friday, 2:00. Join us.
Join us.
Bring your friends.
Bring your friends. Share this.
Comment.
And maybe, do you think next time we can share live to Facebook too?
I don't know that this will let me do both at the same time. Because pardon us as we have this conversation, when I do live stream, it makes me choose.
I'm going to do some research.
Okay.
I think we can go to both.
I think I could. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how we do that.
Well, thanks for joining us, friends. We are just two daughters of the King minding the master's wisdom, and I'm over here killing some flies. So we'll see you next Friday.